Welcome to Bloody Good Horror.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Synchronic from Benson and Moorhead, two people who insist that we call them by their last names and that they're a team, which I guess you can just do. You can just do that.
Sounds like a tobacco company, right? Benson and Moorhead.
It does, kind of. Yeah, it does.
like an old finance company.
I'll tell you what, Joe. Synchronic's okay, but I prefer Synchronic 2001, if I'm being honest.
I like Super Synchronic.
Right. Joining me tonight, first up, you just heard him from Chicago, Illinois. Please welcome Joe.
Oh, but today I'm down here on the bayou here in New Orleans.
Oh, God. I have a good story about that. Next up on the show from Richmond, Virginia. Please welcome Kaylin back to the show.
Close one.
That was like, I was just doing a little press your luck with myself. I was going around the screen trying to decide who was next.
That I just assumed you weren't sure who you were going to. Not
well,
that
that's same thing. Next up on the show from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And next up on the show, you can take the boy out of New York City, but you can't take the New York City out of the boy. Who knows where he is now, but he's a true New Yorker at heart. Please welcome John Schnars to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Feels good.
There's a lot of people doing what you're doing, John. Kind of ran away and are going to go back at some point.
I mean, I hope the other people are coming back. I mean,
that housing market might be not great when you try to go back.
What if you're the only one?
It's pretty fine right now. I mean, I don't know. It was bad before. I don't know if you're familiar with New York City real estate. So
like a Will Smith situation where it's just you alone in the city, except instead of the dog, you have like your 14 kids and wife.
Yeah, that would be rough. Be a bit of a downer.
And if you're like this guy in the movie, you just lose your dog and you never talk about it again or seem concerned about it.
It's like,
maybe I could run it with like a gift or something, or I could use a live animal.
Huh? The dog didn't come back. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Guy, where'd your dog go?
Yeah, it's fine.
Not sure.
It's a whole Synchronic thing. We can talk about it later. Anyway, Mr. Joe, what are we drinking tonight?
Beer guts.
Oh, Eric, we're down here on the bayou drinking a beer. And we're drinking a beer. Synchronic, I don't know if we need to really get into it, but it's
I mean, that's literally what we're here to do, is get into it. But.
I'm sure John will explain the fuck out of this thing, but pretty much we've got a pair of paramedics, working in beautiful NOLA. And in honor of that, I picked a beer from the beautiful city of New Orleans, John. And this is from NOLA Brewing Company. And the beer I chose of theirs is their Blonde Ale, which is a light, refreshing ale, which is perfect for wandering the streets of Bourbon, John, and sipping while you're looking for a new mint julep.
Okay, now you're doing like Augusta.
He's just.
This is like an old. This is like an old Georgian plantation owner you're doing right now.
Hello, Governor. I'm down here in New Orleans. I am. Anyway, I haven't done a ton of blonde ales because, full disclosure, they're not usually my style. But in the heat of New Orleans and that humidity as you're dripping and juices are flowing and beads are being thrown, you want like a light, refreshing beer, and a blonde is pretty much the way to go. There is a definitely like a sweetness to this. There a little bit of hops, but really it's more just kind of that crisp deliciousness that you want on like a hot summer day. Comes in at only 5% alcohol, which is perfect if you're a paramedic or driving an ambulance around. You can pretty much sip these all night long and be fine. I'm assuming it's legal down there. Yeah, NOLA Brewing Company is their website. They distribute around the Louisianas and I believe a few of the outside states. So you might have to look for this one, but I definitely recommend it when you're sitting in that heat, John, looking for something to relax with.
When the beads
Once
start
again,
tossing.
not New
When
Orleans.
the
but okay.
shirts start coming off, John, and the beads start coming.
I
Joe,
somehow
I dare say no one's ever thrown you a set of beads.
I somehow ended
in your
up
life.
with this kid's book called like A Cajun Christmas, and it's like
Oh,
it posits that Santa Claus is named Papa Noel and is from, I assume it's based lightly on like some like regional stuff, but it's like he lives in the swamp and he rides a boat pulled by alligators, but he talks like how you were just talking in the beginning when you were actually doing it, but like let me just put it this way, I'm uncomfortable reading it. It is written in a way that I feel like it's not okay for me to read.
probably not. It's not. Leslie, full disclosure, I was doing this voice all last night and this morning, and Leslie like already has apologized to all of you for having to listen to it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my Cajun
But here we
story.
are.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's take a quick break and review Synchronic.
This is it, Senator. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
And we're back. John Schnars
Eric.
did a bunch of reading on DMT before the show. Consider me your DMT expert.
Okay.
Correspondence.
I think we talked about it on an earlier show. I just in the last month listened to the Michael Pollan book about psychedelics.
Yeah, okay. What was it called?
What was it called?
Oh, John.
Somebody who knows about books, help me out here. In any event, it's quite good. It's something like Doors of Perception. I can't remember. I'll look it up. But
Please
yeah,
do.
he talks about DMT a little bit in that, and it seems
fascinating.
crazy.
Yeah. You know what else is crazy, John?
Words potentially.
Your hair.
Yeah.
Real crazy. Just all over the place.
Eric, the book's called How to Change Your Mind. I actually meant to text you. I was going to recommend it to you specifically.
You should. Yeah, you should.
No one else.
I love it. I'm fascinated by that
But
kind of stuff.
it's pretty good.
Love it, John. I bet you've read some words in there.
There were some words.
Yeah, well, actually, no, because
I actually listened to it on
to
audiobook, so
We're not going to get into that. I have strong feelings that might offend people. All right, let's
I get too, Eric. And I feel like we're on the same page there.
You want me to get into it? I fully support anybody that wants to listen to audiobooks. I think it's a great way. If you dig getting content that way, just like listening to a podcast. Don't tell me you read a book. Tell me you listened to a book.
There you go. Yes.
I don't want to
100%.
hear that shit.
You did
So,
not.
You are
listened.
fundamentally lying about what reading is.
No. Look, I read a lot of books, so I'm not even gonna argue the point with you. But
Tell me you
it's
absorbed it.
been-
I'd be fine with that because that's technically true as well.
Yeah, I listened to it. Is
Yeah,
what
that's
I did.
fine.
I mean,
I'm not
no.
calling you out. Just as long as the subject is here. Caitlin has thoughts because Caitlin is making a storm of faces up in the right hand corner of my screen.
All I will say
So
is,
all
Go ahead.
blind people, unless they read it with Braille, have not read these books.
Well, of course,
Well, no,
that's
that's-
understandable. That's fine.
Well, that takes effort, right? Like just sitting there and listening to it while you're like clipping your toenails or something. No.
I understand why audiobooks are available. This isn't a question about accessibility, Caitlin. I get it.
for me, it's mostly so I've actually substituted a lot of my pod listening for book listening while I'm running because it's great on long runs. You just pop it. I mean, books 15 hours long. It gets you through a month of running. It's quite
I
nice.
literally don't think we've ever had a whiter segment on the show.
Ebooks, how do they work? All right, John, speaking of books, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, it's been a little while since I've gone down this road, but I'm going to do it. Today's word is synchronic.
Oh, I sent you a way better word.
No, where over?
In the chat, and then 10 minutes later I said,
Oh.
hey, John, there's a word above in the chat if you need it.
No, I did not see that. I didn't
Cool.
have the. I was researching. I didn't have the
Cool.
chat window. In any event, Synchronic. Here's the thing. I was curious if it was a word they made up because I was not sure if it actually was a word. It is.
Okay.
How about that?
The definition:
There's a
concern,
whole episode of Unsolved Mysteries about this, John.
concerned with something, especially a language, as it exists at one point in time. Synchronic. It's the same root as synchronous. It actually comes from the Latin synchronous, meaning happening at the same time. So
Favorite song by the Police, John. Just a heads up.
synchronic. Is it a police song?
Synchronicity.
Oh, synchronicity. Yeah.
Two.
Okay. There you go.
Love it.
Jinx on both of yous.
Can I give my
Yeah.
word? Can I give my word as an addendum to this?
Well, now I gotta scroll back through
No,
the
I'll
chat.
do it. I got it right here.
Yeah, you give it to me.
It's entheogen.
Oh, yeah. No.
That is better.
Entheogen is a psychoactive substance that induces alterations in perception, mood, consciousness, cognition, or behavior for the purposes of engendering spiritual development or otherwise in sacred contexts.
I know that word from the Michael Pollan book.
There you go.
Because he talks about how psychedelics, a lot of people who are researching in this space think it's the word psychedelic is has bad connotations.
Gotcha.
So they've been using entheogens as
I like that.
yeah.
Taking back the
Good word.
words, John. That's what we're all about.
Nice
here.
work, Eric.
Thanks,
Thank you.
buddy. Thanks. All right, tell us about Synchronic, and tell us a little bit about what you got in that cranium of yours about Benson and Moorhead. What are these two?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sort of like a Benson and Moorhead completist. So if folks want to jump in, the thing that's sort of most interesting to me about them, they were recently hired to take over Moon Knight, which is a MCU television series. I think it's going straight to Disney Plus. But Moon Knight's kind of, I mean, I don't think I've ever read, but he shows up in some of the other comics I've read. He's it's a lot of he travels through dimensions and battles
Dude.
ethereal creatures
Bro,
and shit.
these guys have a thing.
They love dimensions.
Yeah. Makes me wonder if they all do they also watch some kind of weird time travel porn? Is that all they can get into?
They're making it. Why do they need to watch it?
Sex in the darkness only.
It's they got a specific thing they like to do. So the previous movie, so we reviewed Spring. I actually haven't seen it, but I think you all reviewed The Endless as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean this is the third of theirs that we've done. The other one, their first film, I just had it up. It's called it's another single word title. Is anybody looking at it? It's something with an R. In any event, I don't know how you would describe them. It was interesting to me that they got tapped. Oh, Resolution. That was the first film. It was interesting to me that they got tapped for the Marvel stuff because I don't know, they're sort of in this indie space, though they are definitely, and you see it a lot in this film. They're making what I would call smaller sci-fi films. So it's small cast and almost all the budget going toward effects and or cinematography and that type of thing.
Was
we
The
can talk
Endless
about
the one that we did?
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
Endless
Yeah, we did,
and
yeah.
Spring.
Oh, Spring. But I think there was another one that was related to Endless that we did not do. It might have been their first movie.
Well,
It was the one
that
he
was
just mentioned.
Got
yeah,
it.
Resolution. It's
Cool.
called.
I'm listening.
It's tough. It's tough. In any event, so yeah, I mean, these guys, I guess, Eric, you were kind of commenting on the fact it's definitely a duo. Justin Benson and I believe Aaron Moorhead is the other guy's name. And they both, they're writer directed, so yada yada. This film, Synchronic, it follows these two paramedics. Joe, I believe it's paramedic squared when there's two of them.
Mhm.
But,
Paramedi is the
yeah.
single.
You got it.
Mhm.
Anthony Mackie, kind of the main character here, and then Jamie Dornan, who I vaguely recognize, but I couldn't place. Was
He's
in
Chris
Game of
Pratt.
Thrones.
Yeah, the Shades of Grey trilogy, John. I
Yeah,
believe is what he
Shades
went
of Grey is the big thing he's known for. Yeah, or
Oh.
50 Shades. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
see. I see. What you're
haven't
doing
seen
there,
it,
Joe.
but now might need to check it out.
for. Yeah.
And was infamous for like hating those movies and like openly talking shit about them during the press tours in a way that was kind of funny.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, and him and Dakota Johnson apparently hated each other as well.
Well, hopefully that doesn't come through on the screen, but
It
in
does.
any-
It
I think
sounds
that's
like you
part
should
of it,
ask
John.
Joe.
That's part-
Spoiler
Well,
alert, John. It
Yeah,
does.
it's
It
not
does.
love,
No.
John.
It's not love. Well, okay. In any event, so these paramedics in New Orleans, they essentially start showing up at a bunch of calls, like 911 calls. They're responding to these things and realizing that like crazy shit is happening. It's not that like people are injured in just like very unusual ways. They show up and one guy is on the floor with a sword wound through his chest. They find a burned body, like just completely burned, but kind of in the middle of nowhere where it doesn't look like there's been a fire. And you know, they gradually begin to realize Anthony Mackie is sort of the one who's cottoning to this more than Jamie Dornan. They find this drug. It's a synthetic drug that's kind of in like a little party pouch, whatever you call it, like, you know, peel bag.
It's like K2 or something. It's like that kind of.
Yeah. And it's called Synchronic. It has like a little like light bulb or like atom on it. I mean, I don't know. There's not a ton of branding. It doesn't even really matter, but
It looks exactly
this-
like the kind of shady shit you can buy in like a head shop. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
like-
authentic to that experience.
No, totally. It's like one of any of a dozen things. It's like on the counter usually. But this one, when you take it, allows you to travel in time.
Well, no, John. Certain people, not everyone.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Sorry.
think
Yes.
They advertise that.
Okay. Sorry. When people with undeveloped, or I guess
He
this
said
is like,
calcified was the exact word, that young people's pineal glands are not calcified.
correct. That's
That-
what I was like. Which
That
I
sounds
don't
like
know if
science, but I'm not sure if it is.
Yeah. So basically, if you have a uncalcified pineal gland, then you can travel in time. Anthony Mackie, it turns out, this is not really a spoiler. It's revealed pretty early in the film. Has a brain tumor. It's unclear if the brain tumor has caused his pineal gland to be uncalcified or vice versa. Like if he had an overactive pineal gland, and then in any event, he's an adult. Most adults have calcified ones. He doesn't, so he can travel in time.
He also gets stuck by a needle in that first scene, and I was convinced that was gonna like come back, but
Yeah.
it wasn't anything. Like they made a real point to show it, and then it was nothing.
Well,
Well,
he
it's the
does get a
reason
blood
he-
test.
Goes to the
Oh, is
doctor.
that okay? Okay, it was just to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
him to. Okay, that makes sense.
It's a real weird way to get him to the doctor, though.
Yeah.
That was the scariest part of this
I
movie
know-
is when he got stuck with that needle.
Not to like disparage all of the guys on this call, but for a lot of adult men, I feel like that's the only way you would go to the doctor.
Oh,
is if
not
you-
me, bro. I'm at the. Believe me, I got a stack of bills over here. I can show you.
Eric,
Either that or to have him tell me that my BMI is high enough for me to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Well, all right. I mean, yeah. So then he.
Yeah,
the-
so,
the-
the-
Jamie Dornan's daughter goes missing.
Yes.
The other
The
dude is
plot
like
all-
discovers that because he has this tumor, he can time travel because his pineal gland is messed up, and he tries to find her. And then the second half of the movie is a fever dream that we can talk about.
Yeah, Fever Dream like makes it sound more interesting than it actually is, I think. But yeah.
All right, Caitlin, what'd you think?
this is a weird one. I actually hadn't heard of this before you mentioned doing it for the show. And in the email thread, it seemed like there were strong opinions, maybe on both sides. But I don't know. There were parts of this that I liked. I really did find Anthony Mackie's character funny. I laughed out loud at him saying, you know, like, fuck the past, fuck Back to the Future. Like, those little moments of him were pretty good for me.
High comedy. High
Mhm.
comedy, I think.
High- But I don't know. The middle really dragged for me. There were some really hokey moments. There's a moment in the end where the visuals are really cheesy. I mean, they're not poorly done, but it's just really hokey for me and kind of pulled me out of it. I also think they're layering a little too many topics on us at once. We have like Katrina flashbacks.
There's a
we
lot
have-
happening.
cancer, we have a family falling apart, we have time travel, we have historical. I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot. I feel like this would have worked a little bit better if it were just him not knowing anything about the drug and happen to like travel back through time a couple times.
More mystery, less exposition.
Yeah, like have that be like a short within an anthology or an episode of Black Mirror. But to try to layer it and have this almost wraparound story of, the cancer and trying to get back to the daughter, it was just a little weird.
You know what would have made this the greatest movie of all time to me? If the old guy back in time would have just once screamed, "Why are you always sitting on my couch?" I'm sorry.
He's only there for 7 minutes. Like what?
It's always during this guy's. It's always during this guy's piss break in the middle of the night. He's got a growing problem, John. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I am interested in. I would like to read Michael Pollan's book. I haven't yet, but I was telling Eric about Duncan Trussell Family Hours, a podcast that I used to listen to about psychedelics. Duncan Trussell used to talk about them. I'm interested in the use of them for microdosing. I'm interested in the use of them for like spiritual exploration. So it was kind of cool. Like the idea of using DMT for those kinds of things is interesting. To build a sci-fi movie around it, I don't know. I feel like they could have done something different. But and I have a lot of advice for Jamie Dornan's character about how to win back his wife, but we could.
Yeah, we're gonna need a good 10-minute section just to talk about the Jamie Dornan character, so we'll definitely come back to that. Casey, what do you think?
So I'm a pretty big sci-fi nerd, and overall, I like the concept of this movie. I like a good, complicated, confusing time travel movie, and this had some of the right notes for the concept, the story. I think the characters were good, the acting was decent, but once you start trying to follow along with this time travel story, where they're coming and going and whatnot, a lot of it doesn't add up. There's a lot of holes. It does drag in the middle. I agree with Caitlin like that. But overall, I've seen worst attempts at a sci-fi concept like this, too. I've seen worst attempts at time travel, but it was largely kind of like, for me.
I mean, I'm with Casey. I've seen worse. You remember the Cloverfield paradox? A lot worse than this.
Guys, like, I've seen worse movies. Is like,
well,
like,
I know. I'm just saying it's not untrue. Is all I'm saying.
This wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen.
Joe,
I would argue it may be the worst time travel movie we've seen.
Does
Like,
it? No, I'm kidding.
I thought we were all like pretty lukewarm on the paradox. Yeah, I'm not nearly as gray on this as everyone else. Apparently, I thought it was hot trash. So to start off, I know we kind of talked about the score over email, but even before we get into the whole time travel thing, the score had the missus and I both like extremely annoyed with this movie because they'd be out playing basketball and having like a conversation and just normal. There would be music playing in the background, like everyone's about to drop dead for some reason. Like it was very ominous and looming for no apparent reason. Then you would get into scenes where, like, there's one where a guy is hiding in the main character's closet. Nothing. You got nothing. Like, it was very sort of jarring. Like, from the get-go, I was confused about, like, what the hell they were going for here. And then, like Casey said, like, once we get into the time travel aspect, like, just a hot mess, right? Like, the whole thing kind of hinges on the fact that there's a limited supply of this drug that this guy's doing testing for to go back and try and save the daughter. But he kind of figures out the general idea pretty quickly, but then continues to just test for like days on end, getting down to only having like 1 or 2 pills left. Like it
drinking very heavily the whole time.
Yeah,
he was pounding booze.
It was very, I don't know, like just trying to cram too much.
It got the like bottle in the hand got so ridiculous after a while. It's like, we get it, dude. He's sad. He's drinking alcohol. Like you needed to show me that like twice for me to get the point.
Yeah.
And not acting drunk. He always had to have it in his hand. That's it. He never acted drunk.
He was always like he should have been drunker. Like he should have passed out.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
He was drinking so much.
Just straight liquor out the bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I remember us being like pretty positive on the end list, but definitely having questions around the plot. And I feel like this just kind of took that to the next level, unfortunately, because I remember us talking about this when the trailer first hit, like a year or two ago at this point, and having somewhat high expectations, and it's just
I honestly, I think this has all of the exact strengths and weaknesses of The Endless. It's like they
Yeah.
learned nothing and someone gave them more money.
yeah. Yeah, I think the trouble with this is like they got more money, right?
That's what I'm
And
saying,
The two
yeah.
actors, the main actors are well-known actors, so I was kind of like, all right, this is gonna at least be somewhat polished, and it was just like, I don't know. I've said my piece.
John.
Yeah, I'm very strongly aligned with Joe. I feel like you could let me run for an hour just like picking holes and like ripping into this thing because it's funny. Like the first, so it's basically about an hour in when or not hour. It's 40 minutes in. The last hour of the film is like the time travel stuff. The first 40 minutes, I was like kind of fine with this. Like the setup
Same.
is pretty straightforward, like sci-fi-ish. It's really not a horror movie. I mean, we can just like get that out up top. Like there's no horror elements really in this even.
No, and that's
But-
that's pretty accurate to their other movies as well.
Yeah, I mean, Spring I felt like had a
Well, other
little
than
bit
Spring,
more.
yeah.
Yeah,
it got bloody.
but yeah, I mean, it there's so many plot holes. Like there's so many just like conceptual, like things that honestly could have been resolved or handled better, and just felt like they didn't even try. And that's what like really annoys me. There's also just like super bad screenwriting all over the place, mostly from a narrative standpoint. Like just the way it's structured. The scene, Joe, you were referencing with the drug scientist who's like hiding in his closet. That dude, I think he dies, and you like learn about it.
A
like-
news thing. Yeah.
There's a suicide
Yeah.
on the news. Yeah.
Yeah, like why? Why even have him in the fucking movie? Like, who cares?
They set him up as like he was the one who created the drug, right? And he's
Yes.
running around trying to destroy it all. But also to your point, they just kind of take at face value. They're like, all right, well, he's destroyed the rest, so what I have here is obviously it.
The conflict, yeah, literally, the guy's like, Aaron Maggie's like, oh, don't worry, I threw them all away, or I like flushed them down the toilet. Meanwhile, they're in the trash can in the room, like
Right
they're having
next
the
to him.
conversation,
Yeah.
in the packages that are unopened.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
To
What?
be fair, John,
Go
they
on
do kind
Craigslist,
of look like
buddy.
condoms.
Post a missed connections or something and say, hey, like,
That guy's
I'm
only
looking
I
for
mean, that
more
guy's
of
only
these.
purpose in the script is he gives him the time travel piece of information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's total exposition dump. I get it,
he's
but
the
it's
info
like
dump.
you could have done that a million other ways. In any event,
I mean, he could have
The
just
other-
discovered it and figured it out by himself. They spend plenty of the movie with his dumb experiments. Like, he could have just done it through that part.
I also
I feel like he's more there. Sorry, John.
Also,
like to
this
set
dude,
up
bad
the limited
scientist.
supply, right? Like, because he's the one who says, "I flushed it. Everything else is gone. You got the last few packs." So like that kind of builds the quote unquote tension.
But like, this is the other thing. Like, are we supposed to believe?
No, the paramedic
there's-
says he flushed what he had. The I don't even know why the scientist wanted
the
what he bought.
doctor explains that he's
Yeah,
been going around
he's
the
been
country
destroying the rest of-
all of the.
I mean, that's so improbable. Okay, I didn't realize that. That's
Yeah,
real
no,
dumb.
well, and this is my point. Like, think about all the like drug
That's
crazes
not how
that we've had
anything
in our
works.
lives. Like the number of like fake drugs that have like come up and been like, oh, so such and such is
They
like
become
killing kids. Like,
epidemics. If only one person could have just gone to all the stores and stomped on them, like then we'd be fine.
Yeah.
well, but like this is like a
That's
real
tattooed in
drug
the
that's like
80s.
super duper dangerous,
Right.
and like no one's talking about it. It's just like readily available. People are like, oh, yeah, I
Well,
don't know,
No.
all these kids keep
But
disappearing."
to back you off on that though, John, you could walk into any head shop right now and buy several things that'll mess you. Like, what do you think bath salts were? You could just legally walk into a store and buy those.
They
Straight
do
up.
set up at the beginning too that like this is a world where like this is a problem, right? Like all these over-the-counter
No,
drugs
Joe,
are like a
this
huge.
That's a real
Joe,
thing.
Joe, this is a world.
Yeah,
This world we are in is a world where this is, and they explain exactly what it is, that they can only make things illegal by their chemical structure. And so there's literally labs in China that all they do is create a drug with a slightly different chemical structure, and the pipeline is always churning, so they can't get ahead of it because there's always a new thing in the market.
Eric, my point was more like bath salts was like one of those things where the media made it sound like everyone who took bath salts like went insane. This is a drug that
I mean,
when kids take it, they
sure.
disappear.
I take your point there, but like it's based in real stuff. It's just exaggerated, obviously.
Well,
like I get
all
it.
right, that's the other thing, and I put this over email, and I will stop because like, but the whole premise that there is a psychedelic that gives you access to like other dimension shit, like people really believe that, and like
Yeah.
that's like what the Michael Pollan book is like kind of about. This movie premises that like it actually physically makes you
It physically
transition
move-
into the past.
Yes. No, I get it.
And like the thing that drives me the most crazy is like there's no fucking logic to how you travel into the past. It's like where you stand determines where you travel, but he literally moves like 2 feet in any direction
And
in
he's
his
in a
apartment.
different era of time.
It's about the grooves,
like-
John.
It makes no fucking sense.
Listen, John,
It's
it's a
it
third.
was so ridiculous.
It's a third eye thing, John. I wouldn't expect you to understand.
Yeah.
You obviously don't listen to a
No,
lot of
I-
records.
I'll
if you
be
don't
real.
understand the grooves.
True.
I'll be
You're
real.
right.
The first half of this movie, I would go so far as to say I really enjoyed it. Like, these guys just have a way with the camera, especially in the early part of this movie where they're trying to set up the mood, that I loved. Like, the camera's almost always moving. This scene where we meet the paramedics and they go to this overdose, and then the like racist cops are there. That I don't know if that was one cut, but the camera almost never stops the whole time, and it had this really awesome, like, just like energy and flow to it. So like, there's just a visual streak in this movie that I really enjoyed. Like, I can see it's the one aspect of their filmmaking that I continue to see actually evolve every movie they make. Their problems are much more like narratively, that they're not, to me, in my opinion, like really advancing. I was straight up with this movie up until time traveling. I actually had to pause it and come back to it a little while later. I somehow accidentally paused it at the exact moment the movie turns. It becomes, we didn't even mention it. It straight up becomes like a hybrid found footage movie for a good 20 minutes. It actually kind of reminded me, I felt like we're cribbing a little bit from like House of Leaves or something, because there's this, it's like we're sort of exploring this unknown in this found footage type style, and then taking notes and trying to like learn what this is, kind of thing.
That's giving it. You are making it sound more
I'm not-
highbrow than it is.
Well, I'm not,
in
but no, but the
execution.
problem is that, so that section is also, it totally changes the pacing. It totally changes the tone. I actually don't like the jokiness that's brought into it, because I think it's just like totally different from the tone that you've been. This movie is like dark and like brooding, and then suddenly we're just like time travel and almost getting murdered, and we're cracking jokes. Like,
Yeah.
then there's
When
the
you're
whole thing.
this shitty of a time travel movie, do not take pot shots at Back to the Future.
I,
all right,
that I
asshole?
don't care
I
about.
was
I'm not
so
like,
pissed
that's
about
not
that.
like a
Love-
sacred goat to me. I don't really care about that. But like, then the dog thing is baffling to me. He loses the dog,
love the
doesn't
dog.
pay another moment
So
of mind
bad.
to losing
The
his dog.
whisper?
To
Little
be
whi-
clear, I would have been annoyed if they took shots at Cloverfield Paradox in this case.
And first
right?
of
Like, it's
all,
got nothing to do with Back to
like
Future.
the one of the cheesiest moments is right after the dog thing, when he sees the dog kind of trapped in between dimensions for a second. It literally fades out, the dog, like Wayne's World style. It's like doodly doo, like, and he's making a sad face. It's so cheesy, and it's like, this is always the problem with these dudes. It's like, their other movies have kind of felt like champagne dreams on a beer budget. Like, they've got these just really high-minded ideas about space and time and like healing, like emotional healing and all this stuff, that they want to wrap it all together. And in the past movies, it's felt like, well, maybe they don't have the money to bring it together. They had the money here, they had the actors, and they cannot stick the landing with this stuff. Like, it's crazy. And they make, in my opinion, are still making really interesting movies. But I think, and they're not, I think you guys are overstating how bad it is. I do think the plot's a
it's-
mess. But my thing is, like, the reason why we get worked up about it, I think, is that I feel the potential here still, even with this thing. Like, I feel like the ingredients are all here. It's just like at the end, we started making a different dish, and we like never finished the first thing we were making. And then it's like, I don't know what you're doing here.
Your metaphor game. On
Thanks, bro.
point tonight.
Um,
You're bringing it.
Thank you.
Can I just say, like, I actually agree with you. Like, I meant to say some nice things before I went on like too ranty, but like, the cast is great. Like, this is a very
This is the movie
Katie
where I learned
Aselton, or however the hell you say her
she's
last name.
great.
I'm so happy to
So
see her.
she's I think she's married to Mark Duplass. Is that right?
Yeah.
And like,
Yep.
had
Yeah.
worked, like, she was one of the, like, I think produced The League when they were working on it. They
Mm-hmm.
also like, this is the movie where I learned I really like Jamie Dornan. Like, his character here is a piece of garbage, but like, as an actor, I enjoyed his presence in this movie. Like, it's really not until later on when it really goes off the rails. But
the end is
So,
he's just.
But here
fucking
again, like, so
useless.
halfway through, we go to this time travel experiment section, which totally throws the vibe of the movie off. Then we go to like a drawn out section, and Caitlin nailed this on the head, where like we're just there. This is where like they're trying to bring home all of their threads about the emotional threads of the movie, but what it turns into is like 20 minutes of emotional info dumps and like just conversations in the middle of a crisis happen. And at some point I was like, are we going to go back to like trying to find your daughter? Or are we just going to like walk around with a bottle in our hands and say bro things to each other? Like, I don't know. And the
Bro stuff.
Jamie Dornan character, like, I don't know what they're trying to do here. I feel like maybe they're trying to make just like, here's a picture. Look, guys, it's not all black and white. Here's a complicated human being. This is what I think they're trying to do. Here's a complicated human being that's not all likable, but he's just going through a human thing. But if that's what they were trying to do, I have questions about the person who wrote this character, because this dude is just a douche. Like, he's just a piece of shit. There's nothing really likable about him, and it throws off that entire plot line because all of the ways that it feels like they're trying to make you have empathy for him, it kind of falls short, in my opinion.
It's super. He is not empathetic. I mean, like, I feel
no, I get it, but I just, to me, when that happens, I want to know what their intention was, because I'm like, I feel like this got way off kilter. What were you trying to do here? Like that, even that, I don't know.
I feel like it's like I don't know, like if you asked a 20-year-old college dude to write about like what it must be like to have a family and, you know.
Yeah, but they can't be in their 20s anymore, right? They have to be like adults now.
I would be very surprised if they had children. Like,
well, okay, John. I mean, who knows, dude? Someone should Google it.
I'm just saying, like, it did, yeah, like that to me was part of it. Like I don't know.
Anyway.
There are ways to portray a character who has like emotional detachment issues and sort of other things going on besides making them to be a terrible person.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways to make that character more interesting without having him be just a super douchebag.
Also, weird. Didn't he say he had 2 kids? Like,
no, well, they do. The Brianna.
There's a baby, and the
but
old,
like the
older
baby,
girl.
he doesn't seem to give a shit about at all.
Well, the baby's like not in the movie, like that.
Yeah, it's not really. So also though,
they're like, don't have a kid 18 years after your other kid, and it's like,
yeah,
not gonna come back.
At some point, also, I was like, guys, I think he might just be depressed. Like, you should maybe go to a doctor and like get that looked at. But it all really wraps up in this really silly handshake moment at the end, which is just, it is sort of it's kind of a microcosm of the movie's problems, where like the setup is there and they just can't nail the subtlety of it. Like, what I'm saying is that all that moment has to be is a look, but like everything else in the movie, it's overwritten and like underbaked. And like the fact that
I just love that you were giving them, you're like, cool. Like he traveled to, I think it was probably the War of 1812. Actually,
I'm going to be real with you, John. I believe there is a way to do this time traveling thing and make it work. Like you're still asking your audience to take a leap, and I get that. But there are movies that do that and do it successfully. That make that ask you to take crazy leaps. I'm just saying the time traveling thing on its face is not like a write-off for me. It's just the way they don't handle it any other well.
It's still like, how the hell that scene? He ends up in the like the trench with all the bodies, and then he just like bumps into the daughter. Like,
that's
also
crazy.
Yells at her name.
Oh, and we didn't
talk about the fact that when he travels back in time, he has 7 minutes. Like, the amount of shit that happens to him in the 7 minutes. The average 7 minutes in your life, you're literally like sitting, staring in his face. Like, it's like nothing happens. He travels back in time. He's like in the middle of a war. Like, he has like,
I don't know if you watched scenes, but there was one version where he watched the entire Godfather in that 7 minutes.
Visually, I did really love when he gets dropped onto that battlefield. I thought they actually did that stuff really well. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it's a pretty visceral scene that.
But like, why pick 7 minutes? Like, just come up, like, make it 20 minutes. Like,
it's all so incredibly arbitrary, and we're not even talking about the offhanded comment story from Jamie Dornan about Katrina and his family's coffins washing up. I mean, that was the moment. I feel like maybe on a good day I could have. Maybe on a good day I could have bought the rest of this. But the moment they're trying to tell me, on top of every other improbable thing in this movie, that happened, and then they just move on from it. I mean,
no,
guys.
I really think that came from a different screenplay. Like, they had an idea that they wanted to put that in there. They have this like visual of the rainy, muddy coffins coming up and having this like a huge emotional impact, and they're like, we could put it in this one. And it's like, no, there's no space for it here.
Very extremely simply just should have been excised. It's like
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
quick
need to do that.
flashbacks and that conversation with him, and you've excised it from the movie, and less people laugh at your movie because it's the
Yeah.
silliest thing in a really silly movie.
You take that out and you give me more of that drugged out voodoo guy that they find who was just like screaming gibberish in the back the whole time, because that highlighted this
There's a
movie for
really
me.
weird cut too at one point when it's early on in the experiments when he is like walking. It's before he loses the dog, and he's walking in this like who knows when this was, like 1800s maybe 1700s. Like he's walking with his dog, and decides he's in a place that's like all woods, but for some reason he decides it's cool to take a stroll through town because they want a scene where all the old racist white guys glare at him. But he straight up looks like he's about to be attacked, and that's what the movie's like leading you to believe. And then it just cuts, and then he's just in the woods hiding outside the guy's house. And it's like, were you not going to show us how he got out of that pickle back there? Or
There was like 8 people surrounding
Yeah.
him or just like
Grilling
staring
him.
at him,
Well,
and it's like,
don't they come and get him at the house later?
no, later. But like they had him right there in broad daylight, and like this did not seem like the kind of town where they were just going to politely let him go on his way. Is what-
Oh, by the way, all that took place in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. He has like a whole day in this past that specific scene you're talking about, but it's 7 minutes. I mean, it's
Well, the time thing is interesting because he also takes a pill back with him when he finally finds where Brianna is. He takes a pill back with him and gives it to her
which
so
also
that he can get back.
it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
no,
All he would need
that
to do is hold her like Freddy Krueger, Nancy style, and she would have come out. And
Well,
also,
oh,
if
and
if you had to wait for the pill, he would have come out first. She would have come out later when it hit her, right?
this is back to my whole thing about a pill allowing you to physically travel through time.
I mean-
Then we're supposed to believe that if you touch something, it travels through time too.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It didn't take
Because
a
the
pill.
Rock
Well,
showed up.
Okay,
Yeah,
take it one
but-
level further.
but-
Then we're supposed to believe that he understands that, but he doesn't think ahead and think I should maybe be holding my dog and not just the leash.
Yeah. Or
The-
maybe
the
let me
logic-
try a dish first, or like an inanimate object rather than this
No,
live
he
thing.
needed it to be because he knew inanimate objects could come back because he had the coin.
John,
But it
what
was,
if
like,
you took
distorted.
what if you took a really long piece of your own hair and used that as a leash? Would the hair count as your body?
You know, I just assume he didn't really care for the dog that much. It was
He did
kind of
not
like,
seem to.
the dog gets stuck, like, you know.
And then as it's like, woo, it just like fades away.
Well, they also
So my logic, sorry, Caitlin, my logic in that trench though with the pills, like you're talking about, I agree with all of you, but also with the rules they set up. If he traveled to the past, found Brianna, gave her the pill, she phased out. She took the dose in the past, so wouldn't she just come back to the past 7 minutes later?
I promise,
That's
real.
a
I have
great
no
question.
idea
I
what
think
you
I'm
just
about
said.
to throw up.
Somebody get Benson and Moorhead on the phone. We gotta.
Oh my god! Imagine like setting up an interview with them under the guise of just like, "Hey, promote your new movie," and then just you got all these questions. Like, I don't
I have
understand this.
questions.
Could you please explain this to me?
Well, I do want to say that if you are an asshole like Jamie Dornan's character in this movie and you're trying to win back your wife, you don't call her and say, I need you.
Mm.
We know that you need us. Say, like, I want to be with you. I want you. Like, he's so stupid and needy and, like, doesn't know how to be a partner in any regard.
Wow. I assume this is some sort of sequel to the 50 Shades trilogy, and you know he's obviously slanging the D, so I think he gets. You know,
I'm gonna
he
be
gets
real
cut
with
some
you too.
slack.
What he really needs is a beard trimmer, because he probably looks good with like a short beard, but this long, it's real puby, and it's not. Really
Yeah,
working
he
for
was
him.
like borderline schnars with the creepy beard.
Oh,
I mean, luckily he's smolderingly handsome, so he can get away with
Yeah.
it. But still,
they have the dog named Hawking, and they also have this flashback sort of
Do you get it?
dialogue
'Cause
exposition where he's like,
scientists.
yeah, when we were in medical school, I loved physics. And he's
Yes.
talking about like there's this other layer where he's like a pseudo like
And the birthday
physicist.
gift that's like a light bulb thing that never comes
Yeah.
back up again.
Fuck was that?
It was on the table at one point, like, and it.
Because that was at the point in the movie that I didn't get what was going on until they dropped that line about like I always kind of loved physics. Like, okay, cool.
You
dude.
mean when he
think
brought?
there's a-
He brought the birthday present to the strip club? Is that the scene where you're talking about?
The ambulance and he's like narrating to a man who's dying or dead. I don't
Yeah.
know. And gave him the spiel, and
I
was
just like
when we were in college.
Do you think there's a 4.5-hour version on HBO Max of this that makes sense?
you know what the part I liked honestly was
Zack
just
Snyder edited.
I really liked the beginning stuff when everything was a mystery. And there's cool like I particularly liked when what not the other guy, what's the other guy's name? That's not so Jamie
Benson?
Dornan and then his partner's name there.
Benson and Hedges.
So you know how I know this guy?
Anthony Mackie. is
Yes,
the
Anthony
guy.
Mackie. He's in 8 Mile, John. That's how I know this guy.
Well, he's in the new MCU show.
That's
Winter
well, and then I
Soldier.
saw that
Yeah.
he was in all this MCU stuff that I just haven't seen. But I like the part where he is kind of just getting depressed and confused, and he started like reality starting to get a little weird for him. And there were some really cool cuts that I really liked where he'd be like staring off blindly into space, just blanked out, and then
having a normal
and then
7 minutes is what I
the
call
shot
it.
would cut, and he'd be in a totally different place, but he'd be in the exact same position and staring in the same direction. And it was just a cool way to visualize like he's just out of it, like he's just going through life in a daze. Those are the little things that I feel like they're actually kind of good at. And it's like that's kind of I don't know. It's why I
And then, they tried to have plot, and then
yeah. It's just why I
it all
expect
fell
more when
apart.
it comes to like
All
you know.
these good
Don't
ideas
do that.
for movies, and it's like it would be cool. Like the cancer angle was interesting. The Katrina angle is interesting. The loved physics is interesting, but they don't make sense layered on
And
top.
I love the idea. Like here's what I love. Like and it's really base form. I love the idea of these two kind of like worn out, gruff like paramedics who are sort of discovering some kind of larger thing because of what they're seeing in their job. Like all that. I don't know. That's why I like the first act so much. I enjoyed that shtick, I guess.
No,
I
it's
think
cool.
that's been done though with what was that movie where people get replacement like organs and stuff?
It's not Repo. It was the
Repo
other
Man?
one, but
Yeah.
it was not Repo. It was the other movie that had the same plot that there was like controversy about. I don't remember what that was called.
Well, there was one called Repo Men, and then
Yeah,
there
it was Repo
the
Men.
genetic
That's what I was
Okay,
opera.
talking
okay,
about.
yeah. We did that. I believe we did Repo Man.
Yeah, that movie
We
was
did
a lot
both.
better than this.
Yeah.
He
Do we
sh-
want to think of other movies that are better than
He
this
shook
right
his
now, or-
hand. He shook his hand through the time hole, John.
I
No,
didn't-
that was so like 1980s.
Yeah, why didn't
action
he pull
movie.
him?
Yeah,
Why didn't they just open mouth kiss? Like, why couldn't they have just done that? Like,
Also, though, aren't you risking getting pulled back in time by touching him through the portal?
like fucking hug, guys. All right, like it's 2021. Like, you guys have a great friendship. It's okay.
Or just look at each other and do some emotional acting with your faces. Like that's all that scene really needed, honestly.
What are those things where like you put your hand and then the other person like puts it in there and then it looks like a vagina when you lift it up? You know what I'm talking about?
What?
Do one of those.
What the fuck are you
Right?
talking about?
You've never done like you put
I
your
know what he's talking
Oh,
you
like
know
this?
what I'm talking about, John? And then you put them together and then you lift it up and it looks like
No.
a vagina.
does it? Does it?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Wrap up with one of those.
John is beat
shirt
red right
right
now, and
now.
there is a huge vein in the middle of his forehead just
Oh my
popping. John looks like a burnt hot dog right now.
The color of
Yeah.
his shirt. Wonderful.
Yeah,
about.
John's,
It's the light,
John's
guys. I
face
can't use the
matches
ring
his
light.
shirt.
It's too much.
John,
for
if
me.
you and I are ever in a similar situation where I'm fading away, I'm telling you right now,
We're doing
I'm
the
coming
hand
in for
vagina
one of
thing.
those vagina hand things. And then
Let's book it.
full on fucking kissing.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
I got you. Oh my god. Oh.
So we're good, right? You want to do tweets or
Oh,
what?
boy.
Yeah, yeah. Would you recommend this movie, Caitlin?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
John?
No, no.
Joe?
Yeah, no. And I'm kind of upset with Caitlin now.
Caleb was like, "Yeah, it's a movie."
Casey?
I
I'd
think
say
she's
no.
frozen.
Yeah, I mean, I would say no if you're just like a regular person. These people have like a cult following, but they've probably already seen this thing. So I guess in that case, you know if you're like into this or not. So there's people obsessed with those other movies they've made. And I guess this is for you. It's more of the same. So I guess that's a no for me, John.
All right.
All right. It is time. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Until they were rudely interrupted.
What do you want to do, Skull? Get on the gravestone?
I just want to party.
Man, this place is a mess.
Now look who's awake. They're on the way. They're back from the grave and ready to party. I think things are getting out of hand.
The Return of the Living Dead. Rated R.
Hey, this is Brian O'Halloran. You might know me from such films as Clerks, Clerks 2, Brutal Massacre. You're listening to BloodyGoodHorror.com.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Joe,
Yeah, what's up, man?
you have been a guest on a thing.
Yeah, for those of you that might remember Evan, who used to guest and I think writes occasionally on this beautiful site and podcast. We used to have a show called The Friends of the Real Housewives, and we had trouble scheduling, so we ended up putting it to bed. But he recently, a few months back, started a separate Bravo Buddies podcast where he mostly talks about the housewives. It's about his co-host CJ could not make it this week, so I filled in, and
Wow.
we reunited. And I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun catching up with Evan.
Did you guys
'cause we-
do the hand vagina thing?
No, I mean, I wish we had now. We didn't do video, so maybe
Got
next
it.
time.
Virtually.
But yeah, it was a blast. I had a ton of fun doing this again with Evan, and the response. It's funny. We still have people that follow and ask us about Friends of the Real Housewives, and we've gotten a big response from those folks, and it's made me a little misty. Just seeing how happy it's made everyone. So
How is Evan?
he's great. He's doing great. So he's out in California. He's teaching. I believe he's graduated at this point, but
He was 2020 is the year I want to start teaching. That's
yeah. I mean, it's been rough for sure, but he's doing good.
Love it. I'm also doing a thing this week. John, am I going to be on Thor's Hour of Thunder? Although, Caitlin, are you going to be there or no? Now that it's on Thursday?
Yeah.
Nice. You are very loud all of a sudden, and I don't
Yeah,
know
what
why. You should check that
yelling.
out. Thor's Hour of Thunder, hosted by longtime BGH fan Danny, very nice gentleman. I get to pick the movie. They're doing a hometown series, but my hometown sucks, and he said I could do it from anywhere I've lived. So we're gonna do The Departed, a Boston movie. Because John, here's why: I have a deeply detailed, very elaborate theory about the actual meaning of The Departed.
Oh.
Have
Eric, there was a horror movie made in that old abandoned asylum that everybody went to.
Oh, yeah?
When
Do you know
we were
what
in
it
high
was?
school. Yeah, I forget the name of it, and it's terrible. But that's helpful, right?
Yeah. There was something shot there famous that was nominated for an Oscar in the 70s because my aunt was an extra in it, but I couldn't tell you what it was. I would have had to
Also,
research.
what was that? That movie was filmed in Schenectady a few years back with the Sexy
oh my
Boy.
god, yeah. If we wanted to get real depressing, we could have done The Place Beyond the Pines.
Place Beyond the Pines, yeah.
Which was both set in Schenectady and made by a native, so he knows from depressing.
Which my wife Leslie still mocks me because
It's a good
it looks
movie.
like it's set in the 90s, just from the way people are dressed, but nope, it is present day.
No, it's a good movie though. I dug it.
Yeah.
So we have not recorded that yet though. It's going to be tomorrow night, but by the time BGH is out, I believe that should be out too. So check out Thor's Hour of Thunder on iTunes. We got a message from Andy, who runs BloodyGoodHorror.com, wrapping up coverage of South by Southwest Online Film Festival. Folks can check out reviews of the metal as hell rotoscope animation film The Spine of Night.
Oh.
A charming documentary called Alien on Stage, that's exactly what it sounds like, and the South African echo horror film Gaia. More reviews coming in throughout the week. More news at 11. We got a note from Alyssa on the book club. Wrapping up The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling, and I'm excited to say that in just over 7 days, our April book will be Ring by Koji Suzuki. Get ready to pass this along to a friend before your time is up. Just a reminder that we moved from Goodreads to Reddit, r/BGH Book Club, to use something that isn't owned by Jeff Bezos. We're so conscientious, John. And we're on Twitter, BGH Book Club. I don't know, man. Jeff Bezos can get dog food to my house in 24 hours, so he's okay with me. One more note. We got a note from Sophie. Sophie touched base with me today. She just wanted me to put out a note about her local indie theater in Kansas City, who's trying to, John, make ends meet in the pandemic. So they're running their annual horror fest. Wanted to put it on people's radars. The theater is a genre haven and hosts a massive month-long Halloween celebration annually, along with their horror film festival. They're really struggling during the pandemic and will likely continue to struggle as release dates get pushed back or even pulled entirely off for the summer. Screenland Armor, ARMOUR, is the name of the theater. The festival is called Panic Fest, and it will take place from April 8th to the 18th. You can buy a virtual pass to the whole fest or single tickets at panicfilmfest.com. She says, please consider buying a ticket or two to support a true home for horror nerds. There you go. We lost Caitlin. We're trying to get her back. info@bloodygoodhorror.com. Joe, what do we got on Twitter?
We are on Twitter at BG Horror. Every week we use the hashtag if you want to send in a question or just a comment. First up, we got two from Maud Amsterdam. First, what's one of your favorite horror movie quotes? One of mine is Jesus wept from Hellraiser.
I love Jesus Wept, dude. It's so good.
I probably should have sent this to you.
No, it's just
earlier.
like it's the timing of the way, all the sound in the movie stops, and it's just a close up, and his face is getting torn apart, and he just says it. It's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines, I know Antichrist, not a fan favorite, but dude, Chaos Reigns. I mean,
oh yeah,
come on,
super
bro.
good.
That's right. Yeah. I always cracks me up. Hello, Mr. Fancy Pants from Army of Darkness, like that. Every time I watch, it still cracks me up.
There's also a lot of. Go ahead.
I like the priest from. What's the guy that did Lord of the Rings now?
Dead Alive.
Yes, Dead Alive. I kick ass for the Lord.
Yes. There's a lot of good ones in Creepshow that I really appreciate. Some good Hal Holbrook lines.
Yeah.
There you
go. And second from Maud. This is more. Probably don't even have to read it, but. Okay, do I have to @ you and ask BGH? I am old and Twitter confuses me.
No, I think
you just have to use the hashtag.
Yeah, you could just hashtag.
Yeah. All right, next up from our buddy Robel. So my son is 13 and the hormones are turning him into a real jerk. What's a quote unquote, I feel bad I put my parents through that story from your teenage angst years?
I don't know, dude. I'm feeling okay about it.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I mean, I did some dumb stuff, but nothing that traumatized them.
I just kept to myself, so I wasn't making a lot of active angst. There were other people in my household doing that, so I kind of flew under the radar.
My mom walked in on me jerking off once.
You're talking about...
Whoa,
oh, no.
John, shut the fuck
great.
up right now, Schnars. Joe, carry on.
I don't know why I didn't lock the door, but it was in the early teen years. God, I hope nobody from my work listens to this.
You had a lock on your door, dude? Wow, that's... Yeah.
Yeah, but for some reason I wasn't using it, and poor Mama Joe just walked in.
I would have killed for a lock on the door.
I was treating my body like an amusement park, as George Costanza would say. There's no getting over that. There's no.
I
think
awful,
I
especially at that age.
My mom shuffled into the other room and closed the door, and I think I just said, geez, you got to knock. I was itching myself or something,
I was itching myself.
How do you get by that? So that, I mean, that probably caused some issues.
You know what? I take it back. That's my favorite line in horror. I was itching myself.
I just had an itch.
That's the worst, dude. I'm getting just awful secondhand.
Oh,
yeah,
it was
the worst.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I would just say I just had steady stream of I didn't fight with my parents all the time, but there was a lot of.
I one time was doing
being tough.
I was doing really, really bad in chemistry my senior year, and I discovered that I did not need it that I could make the credits up like a different way. But my parents would not let me drop the course. So I did the only thing I felt I could do, John, which was that I stopped doing anything in class or doing any work or responding to anything until the teacher was like, what's going on? Like, called me and got all mad. I was like, I want to drop this class. My parents won't let me. And she's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, I'll call your parents. I'm like, cool. Thank you. And she just like rolled her eyes at me. And it worked, John.
Solved it.
I got my way.
You got
Nailed
him.
it. Yeah.
Got him.
Damn the man.
Yeah.
Now I know no chemistry. So
Yeah. I did a lot of like I mean we've talked about I did a lot of dumb shit, but I did well in school, so it was like
same.
we kind of had this agreement where it was like I kind of got away with a lot, but
I would.
Yeah, my
well,
brother was
I
a
did
lot
okay.
more of a fuck up than I was. So
Same.
like relative,
Exactly.
I was.
Same.
Oh yeah, that's true, Eric. You
Yeah.
had,
Dude, and it was much easier to just. I was quiet about the shit I did, so I was way easier to get away with it.
I think I got caught shoplifting once at Kmart. Like that was the
We've
worst.
talked about
Like, yeah.
Joe, for people who might be new listeners, do you want to remind them what you were shoplifting?
Well, no, I used to shoplift fountain pens, but when I got caught, I had a Pearl Jam tape in my pocket.
Oh man, fountain pens! I fucking love that. Were you like writing letters, or like what were you doing with them?
I just thought they were cool. Just,
dude, people love that. It's like a big collector thing for sure.
Yeah, it's like that thing. Like when you're a teenager and you start shoplifting, you're like, I don't know, let's just take stupid stuff now.
Casey, you're an adult though, and I know you write a lot. Like Joe, how old are you? Like 13 or something?
This was middle school, probably. So yeah,
Right, like
yeah,
you're not writing screenplays or something. Like
no, just dumb shit.
Was it?
Now that I was showing that mostly for John's comment of I guess some people collect those.
We should let people know that apparently there's a storm blowing through Richmond, Virginia, and we lost Caitlin, so she's gonna try to come back, but she's having connectivity problems.
Storm of freedom. All right, 0 to 102. What is your favorite decade for horror to be set in? Not filmed in, set in. I'll assume any answer Cece would give would be the 17th or 1800s.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I love historical horror. Like
I do
I'm down
too.
with that,
I very much do too. But I mean, I'm digging. Like, it's interesting what people have done with like 90s set horror in the last couple of years. Now that the nostalgia's come back around.
Yeah, I do kind of dig like the 70s and 80s, like stuff.
Yeah, the
set
80s is my sweet
The
spot
problem
too.
with
70s and
80s,
80s.
the problem with 80s is for me it really depends on like. You either have to go all the way like over the top cliche with it, or you've got to do it subtly. And some movies I feel like get lost in between there somewhere. Like,
Yeah, I don't like when it's like pandering, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh hey, hand me that Rubik's cube.
unless
Like,
unless you're trying to rise to the level of like parody or something. I guess.
yeah, but even then, it's like a fine line for when it just gets obnoxious. I prefer when things are just like set there and they don't like beat you over the head with it. Where were we? All right, our buddy Adam, attorney at Space. What is a movie you didn't walk out of / turn off, but wish you did? Hashtag Snyder Cut.
I thought about. Did anybody watch the Snyder Cut? I thought about it, but
I have. It's
thought
a marked
people-
improvement.
Yeah, I thought people. I don't know. The people I've heard from liked it, but like
all I've heard is a lot of just ragging on how this is what I have largely heard. Yes, it's better. It's still bad. That's largely what I've heard. But
I don't care enough about that whole universe
I
to
don't
see a
either.
better version of that movie, especially a 4.5 hour fucking version.
I
of
saw
that movie.
the original Wonder Woman, which I thought was delightful.
Yeah.
I saw Batman versus Superman, which I thought was a hot mess. That's kind of the only thing I have to say about that. And like,
wasn't that Zack Snyder?
yes, I very much disliked Batfleck and just how they dealt with all the mythos and all that stuff. But I do like that first Superman movie with Cavill that not everybody loves.
Man of
I
Steel.
thought that was actually decent as well.
But I'm not like way into Superman, so I know that there's like problems with how that character was done there. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I like that one too, and I'm not super into Superman, but I am sad that I think Cable was a great Superman, so the fact that he didn't get a better movie is disappointing.
I'm sure he'll get
In
by.
answer to Adam's question, I could probably name 30 movies we've done for the podcast in the last like 3 or 4. I feel like those.
I'm just gonna say
Otherwise, I
one
don't
thing,
even
John.
start the movie.
2020.
Yeah. Well,
No, there was I did walk out on the right. I walked out of a theater that I paid money to go into to see the right.
Was that what was the one with the it just gave you the URL at the end. John, you and I saw that together.
That was
I
a
think that
found
was Devil
footage.
Inside.
Devil.
Yes,
That was the
one,
Devil
I think,
Inside. Yes.
Yeah.
For to see what happens, go to blah blah blah.com or whatever. And you're like,
Yeah.
Right was the Anthony Hopkins one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I think I was in.
that
I'm gonna be real
was
with
as
you. I think
offensive.
I might have been in a mood that day, John.
Yeah, I remember thinking like, I feel like it's ridiculous you walked out of that and not some of the other ones we watched around that time.
It's just a fun piece of BGH trivia. It's the one.
God, I hated your guts.
It's the one movie I never made it through.
All right, last one on Twitter, and then we'll jump over to Instagram. I feel like we've gotten this one before, but it's always a good discussion. Pancakes or waffles? Which one is your go-to?
Pancakes.
Oh, waffles.
They're hardy.
Yeah, I go
Pancakes
waffles every day.
I think pancakes are heartier.
Yeah, they don't have the like sweet grooves for putting stuff in and just syrup and.
Yeah, no, waffles are.
I
chef's
like
kiss.
the real intense like starchiness of a pancake. Just like you just feel like a load of shit after, and I kind of like it sometimes.
The real answer is I don't want to be forced to pick, really. But if I have to, I go waffles.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fine with either. Although I do feel like it's a lot easier to fuck up pancakes than it is waffles. Like even shitty waffles are.
I want
still pretty
waffles. Or I'm sorry, I want pancakes with like over easy fried eggs on top and the bacon. I want it all together. Eggs on top, bacon on top, syrup on all of it, and I just want it to be like all mixed together.
If you guys ever come back out to Chicago, we have the Walker Brothers Pancake House. It is chef's kiss, some of the best pancakes you will ever have.
That sounds pretty good.
It's also the prize in the whatchamacallit, to be homecoming queen in Mean Girls is a gift certificate to Walker Brothers Pancake House.
Interesting. You ever see, Joe, on Instagram these pancakes? I think they're big in Japan, where they kind of like the batter has extra eggs and sugar in it, I think, and they whip the batter so that when they make them, they're like this big and like they look like a pile of clouds or something when they come
Oh,
in.
interesting. I feel like there's like a Swedish version of that too, or something. Like, yeah. I'm open. All right, over on Instagram, every Tuesday we post up. You can send in a question, and I'll make dumb comments, and then we'll talk about it on here. First up, though, our good friend refuses to use the form. What time, so to speak, would you travel to for 7 minutes? And then she also followed up with, and maybe doesn't want to read it, but from the pre-show, are you talking to me? Yes, I've seen Rent. I both love musicals, and this movie makes my insides crawl. It's so awkward. The Rent movie. Terrible. Don't bother with it.
Yeah, we were talking about musicals pre-show.
But yeah, what time would you travel to for 7 minutes?
God, that's a good question.
Dinosaur time.
Yes, yeah, actually, because even though it's pointless in the larger thread of the movie, I enjoyed the caveman scene that we got.
Like that fucking scene. Was it him? Was it Anthony Mackie in? That was the other thing. I was like,
I couldn't tell. I kind of felt because the Conquistador is definitely Jamie Dornan.
Oh, was it? I didn't. Yeah, that makes sense.
I was pretty sure.
That.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Schnorrs. I think dinosaur time.
Well, it's like you're only going to be there 7 minutes, so like just like see some shit and then
hope you survive.
Yeah, that's a good call. Like just there it is. I've seen dinosaurs.
You know why, John? Because that's some shit that no human has ever seen. You can't say that about any other time period.
Till we bring them back, dude.
But how many times would you have to dose to find the right place in your living room to get back to the time period you wanted to be
It's like on
in?
top of the TV, but like a little to the left.
Too much.
God help you if you're not in the right.
John, hold these hangers up for an antenna.
God help you if you're not in the right place when that pill kicks back in.
All right, we'll bang through these other ones. Have you thought of franchising the other classical humors, Flemmy, GH, Black Biley, GH? I have no idea what this meant. I don't know if anybody else does.
Nope.
All right.
This wasn't just a case of you not being able to read things, Joe. I actually have no idea what this meant.
Franchising. No, I think I'm saying it right. Why did you forget about Tuesday's question? And this is because I've posted the question very, very late, and I felt very, very bad. But I also would say, like, maybe if you guys did better, maybe I would have remembered.
There you go.
Sorry, I just remembered over on Twitter. this is gonna get me in trouble, and I feel awful. Our friend Renee, who I just learned how to say her name on Twitter, I completely skipped over hers by accident. Deus Ex Manatee over on Twitter. Would you take a syncrotic pill? And if so, what era would you hope to land in?
Oh.
As a loudmouth woman, I feel time travel would not go well.
Might be a little touchy. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's good forethought, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any. I mean, you know, I'm like a middle-aged white dude, so I'd be pretty much fine wherever I landed. But
Yeah.
I think I'm good just sticking around here.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know,
I
when
wouldn't
Obama
take
was.
the pill. What's the upside of taking the pill? You're not getting
No.
high. You're literally like going back to a place you could be killed. It seems like you're always almost getting killed too. Like every time you went back, it was like,
I mean, you
it turns
could
out there's a
just
huge fire happening.
you could just land in a volcano or some shit. Apparently.
Yeah. No, but you're always in the same physical location,
are
right?
you?
That was my understanding.
Yeah, he's always in like New Orleans, right? It's just a different time.
So
Although the woolly mammoth thing was a little.
Did the
that was
glaciers
the one where I was like,
go?
what-
Did the
what?
glaciers go that far south, John?
I would say no, but
what about Pangea, John? Where were we when this happened? I'm just saying, like.
Yeah,
Let's not overthink it. All right, sorry. Back to Instagram. Which series didn't have enough sequels? I wanted a Castle Freak 2.
Ooh.
I said Tucker and Dale. I thought that would be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, that'd be great.
totally in for that.
Nothing else then. I think we're good. Other than
I feel
Tucker
like
and
we
Dale.
get more sequels that we don't want than we get sequels that we want. You know, like
Yeah.
What's a question you wanted to answer but haven't gotten it yet?
If there was an ice age in New Orleans, I'm looking up right now, and it's hard to tell. Like if
well, there you go.
it was bad there.
Does Joe like spicy? Can he handle it? I like spicy. I don't like to the point where like it hurts. Like I don't see a point of like those competitions, right? Like I don't get the
You just
joy
want
of
your
it.
crotch to burn just a little bit. We've been covering.
Yeah,
this.
like I don't mind like having some burnies the next day, but I don't want like I don't like when it's like it hurts while I'm eating it. Like there's no enjoyment in that.
Oh, the burnies. So see, I can't. So like, I mean, when I was eating spicy stuff, I could never do jalapenos because the next day it was like real bad. Like, but it was different than like red pepper stuff.
Mhm.
It was like being maced in the butt.
Casey, John, spicy.
love spicy, very pro spicy. Not
Mild
like
spicy.
Yeah, I'm not like holy shit. I gotta like lay down, but
Yeah, that's my thing.
I'll press
Yeah.
the envelope a little bit.
Yeah.
I like a good bottle of Frank's. That's about my limit.
Yeah.
Frank's makes like a smoky hot sauce that's real good. Like I think it's a chipotle or something. It's really good.
How can Shudder have a movie called Shook without any drag weekend in it?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Although I was watching that. Drag reminded me. I was watching the Scream Queen documentary about the guy who was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's on Shudder TV, and there's a drag queen that makes like a lot of appearances in that movie, and the name is Peaches Christ, which I really
I
liked.
love a good like clever
Dude.
drag.
I was way into that. I like it.
All right, next up, Eric. This is probably directed at you. Trail mix recommendations. I try so hard to like it, but I always end up gagging it
Is
down.
this Mary?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It just seems like a Mary. Mary's always got food discombobulations. Dude, I like here. You go to Trader Joe's, dude. If you got one near you, they have a literal whole aisle made of all different varieties of trail. So if you want some like blueberries, you want some chocolate, you want some yogurt raisins, like what for each the calculation you have to make is how much sweet stuff you need to make the rest of it okay. And I also recommend salted. Like that's part of the problem.
I don't even love trail mix, but my mother-in-law / roommate buys the trail mix at Trader Joe's. It's great.
It's
like
really
I've not
good.
had one of them where I was like, oh, this sucks. Get this out of here.
And they make one that's got little like bootleg M&Ms in it, and it's the problem is like if you get it and it's not salted, you're just eating a bunch of unsalted nuts, and that's unpleasant. Like that's not good.
I
would say
nuts.
like, yeah, I enjoy nuts even if they're not salted, but I don't think you have to eat trail mix. I would say just don't eat it if you don't enjoy it.
The
Like,
salt.
Yeah, like who's forcing you to eat trail
So like
mix?
the salty sweet ratio,
Tell us who it is.
the ratio of salt to sweet to me is what takes trail mix from this is cool to like I cannot stop eating this until I feel like a garbage person.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when they nail it, you got to be careful.
No, the one with the like dark chocolate nibs in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
You get out of control with
That's
it.
the thing. Like, it's not particularly good for you. Like, it's not like you're being like super
in moderation,
healthy
it
by eating
is. In moderation, it is. But that's what I'm saying. The problem is when you get the ones and then you're just going ham on them.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's a lot of healthy
Mix.
fats
Go
in
for
there
Chex
and
Mix.
fiber. Like there's a lot of good things in there for you.
I guess you can get
Micronutrients.
that other ways though. Can anybody explain? Can somebody explain to John? It's pretty normal for people to make hummus.
Were you
Did say it's
questioning
not?
Caitlin a couple
yeah.
weeks ago about making hummus? That was crazy.
Well, I just said like, yeah, maybe just buy the hummus. I think
Yeah,
that's my point.
I'll agree with you, and I fully appreciate the fact that I spend like entire days baking bread. But like,
Well, I'll be
hummus,
honest too. I
don't need
have
to-
made hummus before, and I've had other people's hummus that they made. I've never once had a homemade hummus that was anywhere near as good as just like Sabra.
Well,
So like,
some hummus is one of those things that I think making it in bulk is actually probably easier than trying to make like, a single family serving or
bowl.
something.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Favorite vehicle in a horror film? Best wishes. Thumbs up.
The truck from Maximum Overdrive.
That was my answer, Casey. That's what I went back.
Nice. It's all about that green goblin on the front.
Yeah, I don't really have an answer to that. That's not that, I guess.
The car from Christine.
Yeah, I mean that's.
There's
obviously
not
comes
that
back.
many vehicles where you're like, oh yeah, this was such a no.
Yeah.
Didn't Freddy have like a little thing in one of the Freddy nightmare
He
movies?
sure didn't. How about the tricycle in Saw? the puppet rides.
Here's one.
Jigsaw. The puppet has a name, Eric, please.
Sorry.
Here's one from a friend of mine in real life, Megan, who has a really great beer Instagram account. I don't know how to tell you how to get there right now, but she's wonderful. What should my spring beer be?
Well, so I think I sent it over on Slack,
Cold.
but I just brewed my first ever beer.
Yeah.
Got 2 weeks till I can pop the top on it. I realized like the first time you do it, it's not that hard to do, but there's a lot of goddamn steps.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm doing another batch this weekend. I can't wait because I feel like it's like I at least know what I'm doing now. So we'll see.
It's very, and you could say the same thing about the the hummus, right? Saying just buy it. Like, it's obviously a lot quicker and in some ways cheaper to just go buy a 6-pack, but it's it's the process. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I really enjoy baking bread, John.
Oh, I hear you.
You spend a day doing it, and it's relaxing.
So I got a gallon of Simcoe IPA in my basement
There you
now that can't wait to drink. That it's going to be my spring beer.
That's the way to do it, right? So I brew like 5 gallons at a time when we do it, and like I still have beer from the last time I did it, which was over like a year ago with my neighbor, like because you end up with like 3 cases.
You don't do it on like an actual stove, do you? 5
Yeah.
gallons is a fucking.
Yeah, I do. You just get yourself a giant pot. I would like to get like we had actually planned on getting like a full-on burner for outside, like pretty much those same burners that you use to like fry a turkey and stuff. But then, pandemic.
Trains come.
I saw Joe. They sell like kegerators that you can buy.
Yeah,
Like like home.
Yep.
I'm in.
You can waste a lot of money.
Yeah.
What is the scariest non-horror movie?
Oh, that's a good question, dude. Requiem for a Dream. Although
Oh,
I've certainly heard
yeah.
arguments that that's a horror movie, which I could get
say
down
that
with.
is a horror.
That's tough to top.
I don't know, like Schindler's List. Like
Okay, well, I mean, what kind of?
there's some like
all right.
pretty dark.
I'm not gonna. I
goddamn
mean, I'm not gonna argue with you, but yeah.
movies out there.
I know people that made out during that movie, John.
Aye.
It's a Seinfeld. It's a Seinfeld reference.
Oh yeah.
Have you had any crazy or scary experiences on mind-altering substances?
No.
I mean, the first time I took shrooms, I stomped around a campfire for 3 hours thinking I was the Terminator. That wasn't scary.
But I
though.
feel like you would do that, like maybe if you hadn't taken shrooms.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
A couple beers, maybe. I've only done twice. I've done shrooms and good time both times.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
delightful.
great.
What was the
I haven't
question?
tried any, oddly enough. I've always been told, if you go into it nervous, you're going to have a bad trip. And
It's
then I
not
get
a-
nervous, and it's like, no, I'm
It's
not
not
gonna
a
do
great thing to try for the first time as an adult, especially if you already feel like that. I will say that. Like, it's better when you're young and dumb and you don't know what you're doing, in
Right.
my opinion.
Yeah, you got to read this book, Casey. Read the Michael Pollan book. You'll be like fucking lining up for it. I
I
swear.
am kind of interested now, John. You've been pimping it.
Joe, you
have I-
can listen to it on audiobook too. It's
No,
very
John,
good.
I'm gonna
Just don't say you
read
read
it. I'm going to read it. Have I told you lately that I love you?
Nope.
No. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Why is Caitlin your favorite guest host? I will give you 2 guesses who sent that in. Anybody? Anybody want to say something nice about Caitlin?
And she's a delight.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
She's a wonderful human being.
she's good people.
She's all right. No, I'm kidding. She is the best. All of our other guests are trash compared to her. Zack Snyder Justice League movie. Should I watch all 4 hours or the last 5 minutes?
I don't know.
I
should
think it's
just-
worth watching it. You don't have to watch it all at once.
I should just throw it on in the background. I did see a really funny meme that apparently the villain dude, once his armor is off, looks just like Grumpy Cat. Like somebody put a picture next to it. and it's,
Oh,
like,
I did see
uncanny.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, who is the villain? Like
Dark
Is it like-
Side, I think.
Dark
Oh,
Side.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Best movie about witches/witchcraft.
The Witch.
Yeah,
Right?
it
would
might be
my
the
vote.
it might be the witch for me.
The Craft.
The craft.
That's a good second to Hocus Pocus for me. I'll be honest.
Well, Hocus Pocus is delightful.
It's up there. All right. Last but not least, and I think this mostly be for you and potentially Eric. Are you a fan of the Bloodhound Gang?
Oh, I love the Bloodhound Gang.
No, I like that song. I don't think I've heard much else of theirs. I bet you somewhere on an old computer in a dump somewhere, Joe, there's like a Winamp playlist with a couple Bloodhound Gang songs on it, but
Yeah.
that's probably about it.
So I randomly, like when I used to buy used CDs, stumbled upon their first CD, "Use Your Fingers," which was before, like they kind of had those random hits. And I bought it just based on cover alone and loved it. Like listened to it constantly. After that, I never really got into their other stuff other than the funny songs on the radio. But like that first album, big fan.
I've seen them live.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
It wasn't really the band I was going to see, but I've seen them.
That's it. We are done.
Love it. Thank you for that, Joe. Thank you to
Thank
everybody
you.
who wrote in. If you want to hear us talk about show tunes in the pre-show, go to patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. You get the pre-show, you get the live stream, you get Slack, you get the back episodes. Patreon.com. Joe, you're on the Cameo there, Bloody Good Horror. You're with the TikToks and the...
Yeah, the Cameo, we've actually been getting a steady stream of requests the past couple of weeks, so I appreciate it. TikTok, I think I've lost interest in. It all depends on, I tried to do like the Instagram shtick where, I answer questions and stuff, but like it all hinges on people sending questions, and like once that dies out, I'm not creative enough to make just content.
I mean,
without
Joe, our
other
audience
people
might
making it.
generally be too old for TikTok, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's a thing, but yeah, Cameo though still going strong.
Love
and
it.
I appreciate everyone that has sent them in.
Love it. Cameo.com. Cool. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.